Māori for the last 2 months, and then I had an English medium secondary space. I am the acting manager of poutama, which is the Māori research space within Europe. So it's my current mahi. I'll hand over and give this to
Māori o tātou, Māori o Muka tōpinga, e uri tēnei o te kairākiti, ko hikirangi te maina, ko waiapu te awa. Ko te whānau rua taupaki te hapu, o ngā tukurau te iwi, ko au tētahi o ngā toki ao wārama, kairatu te wopu te paireo. Reira, tēnei au e ria mai te te kata.
And wahine tour over in the corner here. There are 20 You're going to stand here and I've got my microphone. There's kōrero in the magic in the education space between poutama, which is the document we're going to be talking to you about today, but also thinking about poutama, which is slightly different things. So poutama is an internal process that you do yourself and you drive yourself, and poutama is an external process. Now we're really lucky because Nadia is actually on the poutama team. So I'm going to get her to do a brief introduction about what that is, so you're aware of what that looks like and where that fits in terms of the overall education landscape.
So just briefly, Te Poio is a newly established team that sits within the Education Review Office. Currently Stephen Suta is our manager, and we have 3 toki ao marama. It's myself, Kei Watime and Taini Dirimui. We've been in the job for 5 months, so this project has been on the horizon for 5 years. We're 5 months there. Our job for the rest of this year and heading into the new year is to work closely with evaluation partners and principals, evaluating the quality of teaching and learning through Te Reo Māori in English medium settings. Mainly, Rumaki and bilingual environments. At level 1, that's 81 to 100% Māori, and at level 2, 51 to 79, 80% Māori. While Te Reo Māori is a focus for the whole school, Toki ao Marama, which is our role, is solely for immersion and bilingual units. We're looking at trialling schools, so our pilot schools, which will hopefully start in the second half of this term and heading into to the beginning of next term before we roll it out beginning of 2024. So that's just a brief on Te Poio and the roles of Toki ao Marama.
So, just to make that really clear, poutama is about Māori language and driving Māori language for everybody in English medium schools, and the document is about your internal review. You drive that in terms of your kura, and poutama is an external, and they come in and look at rumaki, full immersion, or reo rua, bilingual spaces in English medium So that's just the difference between the two, so you've got that sort of sitting in the back of your head as you start. Today's purpose is to unpack poutama reo for you, for NZ Star members, and I'm aware there are kaiako in the space, we've got tūngwaki in the space, and board members. So the point of today is for you to be able to unpack poutama reo and use it, actually have a look at how it works. So I'm not going to be talking to you the whole session, I'm sure you'll be pleased to hear that. But we're looking at how it fits with Ero, how that fits with the wider educational landscape, and how that fits and how it contributes to the revitalisation of Te Reo Māori within Aotearoa. So that's what today is all about. So the first question is, why is Ero involved? Good question. So first of all, it fits under three contexts for us. The first is honouring Te Tiriti, and that's also important work as a board. You'll be very aware of the Education Act and your requirement to commit to it in terms of Reo Māori as of the beginning of last year. It's also part of our statement of intent and also other relevant legislation such as Te Ture, More Te Reo Māori, Education Training Act and our Public Service Act. So that's part of our contribution to the space. The timeline and what this looks like. So one of the most important messages that we have is that this piece of work didn't come out of nowhere. It didn't come out of drop out of thin air. We didn't just decide one day, oh, we need a document so that people can do this stuff, and we'll just write it. This has been a really long and drawn out process. So what we started with was research, way back. Two key pieces in our space, Te Whenua, which talk to whānau and learners in school spaces, and Te Taumata Kōrero, which talk to school leaders. Those two pieces of research were really important. The first piece of learning that came out of that is across the board, our schools are really keen and very committed to supporting the revitalisation of Te Reo Māori. It was a key message that 90% of our kura were in that space really committed. However, for many, it just sat in a tata somewhere at the top, and there was no follow-up steps. So that was a key thing, but people were keen to move that. So we know that in terms of the background, that there is a commitment to this. It was the how-to that became really important. We commissioned Education Forum was also put together as a result of that mahi. MOE, Ero, Principals Association, TIA, the Māori Principals Association, us, Teachers Council, a few other bits groups that came together to start that process. And then a framework was started to be developed with research as its base. So this has taken a long period of time. Last year, that framework, our poutama reo framework, came to fruition as an initial draft. And we piloted that in a number of schools, both secondary and primary, across Aotearoa, all the way down from Christchurch up to Auckland. And I was privileged enough to be part of the pilot team that went out and helped with that. So that's where I tied into it. So that went out into schools. Then what happened from there, enthusiasm was amazing. What happened from there is they gave us feedback, because we wanted to know, did this document do what we wanted it to do? Did it have integrity? And the second thing we wanted to know was it usable? Like, it was all very well coming up with a document and a framework. If we took it into schools, maybe, no. So it was really important to the team that the document was usable. And the team that developed this was made up of people who were involved in research, but also importantly, people who were in schools, who had worked on a day-to-day basis in terms of school management, school leadership in both Kaupapa Māori and in English medium. So there was a bigger, wider contribution to that space. It was piloted last year, as I said. They then gave us feedback. So we adjusted the document based on what they told us, and there were several adjustments. And then it was launched last year in September with, in Wellington, Minister Davis, Minister Titia, the contributors, representatives from the ministry, a few other people. And now, once it's been launched, we're starting the rolling out or the unpacking of poutama reo and PLD, of which this is one of those systems. So that's where we're in the stage of. So that's the background. So biggest message from that, this didn't come out of thin air. Okay, there was a lot of mahi behind the scenes to develop it. Where does it fit? The lovely thing about poutama reo is we did our very best for it not to be a reinvention of a wheel, a new document, a new thing. So this actually pulls together a lot of the education landscape pieces to make it a bit more workable for schools. So it contributes to it feeds into teaching standards for teaching council, our code, our standards, works in the research curriculum, but importantly in terms of boards, it feeds directly into your ability to tick off the NELTs and also meet your requirements under the Education and Training Act. So all of those things were brought together, and poutama reo supports those things, which makes it an easy document to use in terms of tying those strategies together. Together with documents collectively, recognise the important contribution and the skills and to the revitalisation of Te Reo Māori. So all of these things together, plus poutama reo, our schools, English medium church. So that's the history. I'm a history buff, so we'll pop that off to the side and have a look at the actual document itself, which is why you're here. So poutama reo is based on the story of Tāne. Now, most of you will know that story, but there's a story of how he ascended and took the steps through to the heavens to acquire the baskets of knowledge. And those, if you've read that, you'll know that those steps weren't always easy. Okay? And each step in that poutama represent a step on a school's own improvement journey. So that explains the steps that schools will take as they ascend to their own heavens. That poutama analogy aligns perfectly to aspirations for us in this framework, and in this framework each school is Tāne, taking those steps. So what's it made up of? So there's 4 dimensions, or 4 groups, but 4 dimensions. Quite deliberately, students are at the heart. So while we're here, while we're in education, is for our students. So students are at the heart. Student agency covers every student in the school, enrolled in the school, every student. Second level, second dimension, whānau, hapu, and iwi. So that includes whānau Māori, local couples, local people, the wider community, and any role involved in supporting any positive relationship with whānau hapu. Teaching is pretty self-explanatory. It's all the people that are involved in teaching and and leading, which is why you're here. Leading is about all levels of leadership, from governance, board of trustees level, senior leadership, and your middle management in your school, middle leadership in your school. So there might be team leaders or syndicate heads or heads of learning, however you structure that. So all of those 3 groups are encompassed within the leader. And there are 4 levels, okay? 4 levels of provision. So there's 2 things you need to be aware of before I go through the 4 of them. Each step is intended to support the building of capacity and continuous improvement. So no matter what step you're in, you're still building capacity, you're still building improvement within your kura, your school, and each step assures that the goals and indicators of the one below are being met and still being met and moving forward. So you can keep everything in place in that one and still going to get to the next step, so it's really important. So 4 steps. We start with Gehipiku, which is to be unsteady, and it's likened to starting your journey. It's a place of development, it's a place of excitement, it's a place of potential, and a place of growth. It's a place where you might need some support to get started. When the story came up, it was about that excitement when people are starting to walk. You're a parent, you know that joy that comes with that. So that's where that sits. Hihikinga is about with guidance and support, you lift and raise. So it's about your practice and continuing. Hihiringa is you're aware, you're taking risks, there's transformation happening in your school. And finally, hihiringa, which is a place of enlightenment, and it might be a place where you're being very innovative and you're sharing and giving back to others. So those are the four steps, and it can be quite long, those steps sometimes too. So 4 steps. Now the document is set out, as I said when the group were developing it, that it be really usable. So the first part of the document has the why we're doing it, what it looks like, the reason behind it, the research behind it. And the second half of the document is about how to use the document and what that might look like. So there are 2 sections to that. The first is the quality indicators. The quality sounds very official speak, but the quality indicators are what things should look like in each space at each level. And they are divided into 3 sections: your planning, your delivering, and your monitoring. Sound familiar? Like you plan for something, you make it happen, and then you check to see that you make sure that it's happen. It's as simple as that. And those 3 parts are in each of the dimensions. So there is planning, delivering, and monitoring for student agency, and for leading, and for teaching, and for whānau community. So those 3 things have those 3 layers. And at the end, this is the last part of the document, are examples of what that might look like. So rather than trying to guess what that particular statement is, there are specific examples of what that might look like in your school space. What might the policy look like? What might the monitoring in a student agency space look like? What are the kinds of things we might see? So the idea of the document is to make it as simple and as easy as possible to access it and have practical examples for you what that might look like. So that goes over the document. And then in the back of the document, these beautiful things. By the way, you're not expected to be able to read all the little words on it. That's just an example. I don't expect your eyesight to suddenly hit whatever is above 20/20. So we have these self-review tools. So in our device, there's one in the back of each of the dimensions. And what you can use this for is placing yourself on there. So for example, you might find that for some aspects of leading, because that's the space you're in, that there's a space that you're going to pop yourself somewhere on there based on your practices in your school and your product. And your teachers may do the same thing and put themselves somewhere, but you can check and measure your progress on it. So these things are mega helpful. These are one of the things that were developed as a result of going into our pilot schools. It's something that they requested in terms of development to be able to track themselves. So we saw schools tracking where they were going over time and making changes over the short term. So that's the self-review tool that is in the back of the document. By the way, this document is also available free online as well. So No logins, no emails required, you can just do it. Okay, so that makes life helpful. So this health review tool allows you to place yourself based on the evidence that you've collected and what's going on in your school on the tool. And then from there you make an overall judgment about where you're at. So based on all the information you've collected, you can place and make an overall judgment about where you're at. And from there, you set your goals. Quite deliberately, the goals are set for you to set short-term and mid-term. And the reason for that is we know that people in schools from our research, that people are very good at putting it in their charter and leaving it on a shelf for 3 years and then coming back to it and going, I can see smiles in the audience and you know what I'm talking about. So this is about change and setting goals in the short and mid-term so you can start moving through where you need to be, which makes it very useful. So going back to that change model, it takes you from that original research of being visionary through to actually making impactful change within your space, within your school. So that's really important. So it takes you through that change process and extends you in a Māori program within your school as you go with support. Okay. So I promised you that I wasn't going to talk the whole time, so I'm actually going to make you do something now. So what I'm going to get you to do is we have written some scenarios. Now we've used these before, so they will get you thinking and they will get you talking. Now those scenarios, I assure you, have been made up with a little bit of bits and bobs added. So they are schools that you will not find anywhere. But they've been made up to get that conversation going. But also you will recognise some of the things in there as being fairly typical in some spaces as well. So what you're going to do is you're going to hop into groups of up to 5. So 3 to 5 is ideal and create the discussion. From the morning session we found 4 or 5 was about right. You can choose. We're not putting you into groups. You can choose who you want to work with. You can work in your row or with your mates. I have no issues with how you choose your groups. What you're going to do is we're going to give you a scenario. There's 7 different scenarios being spread around the room. So you might have the same one as your neighbouring group. That's fine. What you're going to do is you're going to place this skull, this cutter, on the poutama based on, and so you'll make the document work and the document will work for you for each of the dimensions. So where do they sit in terms of student agency? Where do they sit in terms of leadership? Where do they sit in terms of teaching and learning? Where do they sit in terms of whānau, haku and iwi? Where's their layer? Then, what is the school's overall stage? And then if you have time, pick a goal for them. What should this kind of be doing next? Alright, now the nice thing is, we have some copies of the document. It's also online, so we just have to type in poutama reo and ero in your phone and you'll find it. There's documents online and Nadia and Deb will hand out some of those to you. Choose your groups. Yep, and the document.